And by added values, I mean the emotional and mental autonomy that comes when you um, when you make a living, when you live out of a passive income. I think that if people would understand the power of passive income, and if we will give it a more um, a more emphasis in our business plans, most of them, they would not react the passive reaction. Most of them they have. They will be so much more proactive in understanding the close relationship that is that passive income has with creating a lifestyle that so many would love to live. It's so much easier to build this kind of lifestyles when we really understand the power and the nature of passive income, and regarding our business opportunity, royalties or residual income. Passive income not only give you money, it gives you something that for me is more important and transcendent than money, which is real freedom. But not only a freedom in just financial terms, but a whole way larger freedom in terms of what do you think, feel, and do on your daily basis. Allow me to expand this concept more to you. The Bible says that truth will set us free. So there is a higher that does not come only from financial resources. For me and for many people, happiness is the purpose of life. And real happiness is impossible to build without freedom. It's true that America is a free country which helps people significantly to achieve happiness. But paradoxically, how can we achieve happiness being and feeling trapped by a system that demands so much of our time and takes away tons of emotional energy, which for me is the most important energy that deals with happiness and success? We need to recall that happiness is a soul status, is a feeling that cannot be built without the power to choose. In other words, a power that only comes from real freedom. So, if truth will set us free, I have a question for you guys. Are we truly free? I mean, are we truly free? How can we be truly free if we spend so much of our lives making a living, but almost never living? How can anyone experience a nice feeling of inner freedom when we get so much caught on in the endless race of making a living? I always wonder, when will we end? When will this making a living process will end? And when will people enter not only into the making a living process, but into the living one? How can a person declare him or herself a free persona when it's daily forced by a system that requires or that make people to think the same thoughts and have or experience the same feelings week after week after week after week. And the majority of the thoughts and feelings are relating with work issues and a making money process. We can see every day that millions will go to jobs that they dislike, and we have to understand that dislikement is a feeling. Others like what they do, but they hate the payment. And hating something has nothing to do with happiness. And remember, for me and for many, the purpose of life is to be happy, to achieve happiness. Millions are trapped in the work for paid mode. They just work for payment. They don't work for having a life fulfilled with happiness. So I've always wondered myself why so many people have to do, and I would like to emphasize, have to do things they do not want to do. Why millions have to feel feelings that they don't want to feel? And have to think thoughts that has nothing to do with being a happy person or having or building a happy life. I have come into conclusions that not everyone would agree. But for me, the answer is that millions are trapped in the making money process for making a living. And they have forgotten the living part. They need and have to make money in order to survive. And everyone of that are in this conference know that surviving isn't a slavery mind and emotional status, and is very far away from the kind of freedom we all need in order to choose our destiny or to create one. As you know, we very frequently use this magazine, 21st Century Entrepreneurs. And if this magazine, if you really take a look and study the Maslow pyramid, which is a profound psychological study of human needs and desires, you will notice that the lowest level of human need is psychological needs. And physiological needs. Physiological needs. In simpler words, surviving needs. But if you take a look into the all upper levels of the pyramid, these levels requires a most higher level of freedom. You can see that the upper levels are the psychological needs and the self-fulfillment needs. He described the psychological needs as such as belongingness, love, esteem, and accomplishment. These feelings or status can only be fulfilled as a person can use his psyche on a logic way and using thoughts and feelings on a logic requires a mind free of fear. Precisely, fear is the 90% emotion of humankind. Fear is the emotion that 90% of the people suffer most. So how can you really become a free people or a free person is you're trapped in a system that is designed for people to get trapped by fear. When fear enters into the human mind, there is no way we can use on a logic way our psyche because it's full of fear. And fear is a thought of something we do not would like to live or experience. So there's no way we can fulfill our sickest potential if it's trapped by fear. But the system has been designed with that very purpose. If you take a look into the higher levels, you will find a level which is called self-fulfillment. Maslow says that this level is the highest level in his pyramid, and he described it as achieving one's full potential, achieving a life with joy and happiness. So, when I decided to build a passive income, I also decided at the same time to build a life of purpose and meaning, a life of serving others, a life of helping others to achieve their full potential, to head into a direction that will set them into the self-fulfillment level. And I was so sure that a linear income and the way the system has been designed, which is a money-making trap, would not help me to develop the kind of mind, thoughts, and inner feelings that I needed to find and achieve with my personal purpose in life. And would be almost impossible for me to help others to achieve the same. So for me, freedom is a wider word that not only requires financial resources or a very good income. I think that money is part of a freedom process, but just not the only thing. Real freedom requires thoughts and feeling that are based on truth and not on fear. So I once more would like to make this question. Are we truly living, or we are just trapped in the making a living? For me, passive income and freedom are related. Why? Because passive income does not need anymore my thinking process, my feeling process, and my human force. So for me, that was one of the high motivation that helped me decide to build a network, to build a passive income, and to have the kind of life mentally, emotionally, and for some spiritually, to really find my real purpose of life, which is to experience a happy life and not to get trapped by the making a living. As an economist, I know that a network is an asset. Once created or built, an asset will put money into your pocket. And in many, many cases, enough money to stop making a living and start a living. You know that in most cases, when you have money into your pocket, you also have a free mind. When you have money into your pocket, it's easier to have freedom in your mind. And for me, and for many authors and writers, only when you have freedom in your mind, then you can create and develop your creating capacity. A mind full of thoughts, needing thoughts, fear thoughts, preoccupied thoughts, stressed thoughts, not fulfilled dreams thoughts cannot create. It is so busy in the addiction of thinking. And thinking is a tool. Thinking is a resource. So people can fulfill their dreams. But as you can see, thinking has become an addiction. We do not think to create. We think to survive. And when we think to survive, there is no way we can achieve our higher or highest potential. Because Our highest potential has to deal with become co-creators with God. We need to understand this. Millions are not living the life they want because they're not aware that the mind has to be free in order to create. Create. Fulfilled dreams are or is a creation process. And you cannot create with a preoccupied mind, with a stressed mind, with a mind caught on the making a living thoughts. There's no way. So we need to understand that all that we want to achieve in life, we first need to create them. We need free minds so it can deliver its capacity to create. So, by having a creating capacity, we can achieve your dreams, our dreams. And more important, we can help others to achieve their dreams. And isn't this what For Life is about? Achieving our dreams and helping others to fulfill theirs. So for me, passive income, it was a way so I can have a really more free mind. A mind away from stress processes. A mind away for thoughts that I do not want to think, but the system forces me to think. A mind a lot freer of slavery thoughts. Freedom and happiness can only be produced or created by a free mind. So for me, passive income was a way of freeing my mind. Once again, only a free mind can be happy, can create happiness. Only a free mind can create joy. Only a free mind can help others. Only a free mind have the creativity, ability for helping and understanding others. For me, freedom starts in the mind. And having a very good passive income has freed my mind. I'm not any longer in a making a living process. I'm in a living process. I'm not making, I'm living. And for me, living is creation. Living is fun. Living is joy. Living is the power within me to choose the kind of thoughts I really want to have, the kind of feelings I really want to feel. You cannot choose the way you want to choose if you don't have a free mind, a mind free from the system, a system that demands so much of our thinking process and emotional energy. There's no way you can create in your life, or you can create a life, if your emotions are trapped with poor thinking and poor feelings. So, for me, passive income is the way to achieve more freedom in my life. Not only financially, but even a more important higher level. Mindly, mentally, and emotionally. So, I am a very happy person. I have built this happiness in my life. And for me, the purpose of my life is being fulfilled. And this inner sensation, this inner feeling that I every day feel, helped me so much to enjoy life. Helps me so much to help others. Helped me so much to really live my life. So for me, that is the main reason that influenced in my decision. Passive income will deliver my mind of the needing thoughts or fear thoughts or having to thoughts. And in one way, for me, one of the purpose of this mortal phase is to conquer my mind. Is to conquer my mind. Because only a conquer mind can create happiness. If passive income would help me to conquer my mind, that was a very high motivation for me. So that's one of the reasons I decided to create a network. So I would have to think and to get trapped in the making money process. So for me, it has been a pleasure to share this moment with you, these thoughts with you. And I will always be willing to help anyone to conquer their minds and to understand where freedom, real freedom, begins. So thank you very much, Francis, for giving me this time.
Oh, Giovanni, thank you so much for giving us the time to get on the call. We really appreciate it. I know we tried the schedule, but great information. I enjoy listening when you talk. I don't know if you allow, if anybody has a question, would you allow any kind of questions, or do you want to, there's people in the chat that are thanking you, saying hello, people from all over the world. So I don't know. You tell me if you're interested in taking a couple of questions.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so then if someone has a question, you know the drill. It's *6, and You have a message here, Erica. She says, gracias, señor Perotti. Even though it's an English call, they still type in Spanish. So if anybody has a question, you hit the *6. And Giovanni, to let you know, I know you asked me about some English leaders. They're always welcome. We do the call on Wednesday nights at 9:30 every week. And one week I do business training, another week a product training, and another week an opportunity. So we do every week a different thing. And last week we had Dr. Mei Ling from the Medical Advisory Board of For Life. She did a little bit of a product training. So this week was you, and then next week we do the business presentation, to let you know. So that's our rotation of the schedule. So I don't think anybody has hit *6 to unmute yourself to ask a question. I have somebody messaging me here. I cannot hear you, Rocio. No, I can't hear you. You have to hit the *6. Hit the *6 off your phone to be able to ask the question. There you go.
Hey.
Hello.
Giovanni Perotti. Giovanni Perotti, te amo. Muchísimas gracias. Hello?
Yes, we
Can
hear
you hear me?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Giovanni Perotti, it's such an honor to hear from you directly here in this conference call, and I am it's just wonderful. I hear your presentations all of the time in Spanish, and I pay very close attention, and I have purified my mind and where the freedom is, and I totally agree with you in regards with where we have a slave mind of slavery, and I'm so honored, and I thank God for your knowledge and for all of us that listen to you. And one of the questions that I have, although I've been trying to, it's very difficult for me. I am in an Anglo community. It's 30,000 people, and most of them are Anglo or English-speaking people. And I have approached them, but I want to know if you can give me an advice. How can I approach these people, because they are a little bit of they have a little bit of a skepticism, and so that's what it is. That point where I approach them, but at the same time I like to hear like some hints on how can I make the approach even more effective and efficient.
Well, first, you have to understand that freedom is what many, many Americans want. So sometimes we approach people having a message of freedom, but when we give away the message, we concentrate so much in a product or in the quality of our products, they don't seem to understand how they can relate products with freedom. And even though I know that are a very important for in our business, my advice is to develop a presentation or approach a statement that has to deal more with freedom, residual income, passive income, and make them understand that the only income that is not related with time is passive income. Okay, so they can create a second source of income that in the meantime, in the medium term and in the long term, receiving that income will not have to do anything with time. Then they will catch the freedom part of our, which for me is the most important part of a networker. So my advice is, we explain our products with passion and conviction, but we have to understand that people will do the network if they understand the relationship between residual income and freedom. So we have to emphasize more the residual income part than our products. Hello?
Point well made, Giovanni. This is Jacqueline. That is so true that we are so caught up in trying to get the product out to the person, but then you have to know what the person wants. And because some people just want to try the product before they do anything else or hear anything about selling or building residual income. And then you have some people that want to know the benefits of residual income. And so you have to be flexible, first know what they want and provide that need. And then show them the benefits of both sides. And what to say again, we have to be flexible in our mindset and not force what we want on that person. Let them tell us what they want by asking them questions, engaging in conversation, building a relationship. And this way we will know how to our product. So I totally agree with you on that as well.
Is that a question or a statement?
That was a statement based on what you said in reference to that other person's question.
So, which is really your question?
No, that wasn't the question. That was just agreeing with what you had said. And letting them know also that you need to be flexible, and when you approach someone, she was saying, how do you approach the American market? And with the American market, we find that although some of them might be product driven and want to know what the product will do for them, there are also those that are, like you said, trapped in the 9-to-5 mindset, the rat race. So you have to know what their needs are, is to ask questions.
Yes, okay. I have someone here, Giovanni, from West Palm Beach, asking the question, how to break the mindset issue. MLM has done so much damage due to being a pyramid, and other companies have lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. How do you engage them to listen to you, or creating the curiosity?
Well, we have to understand first that less than 1% of the population is involved in the network marketing industry. Sometimes, and I will say this with all respect, is that we do not realize that we focus our mind in the obstacles and the negativity of the people. Okay, when we only need 3 to 6 people that want to fulfill their dreams. So I have approached many people that do not want to change their perception of the MLM industry. And I have a very clear, how can you say, a very clear thought that my My job, for saying in one way, is not to debate or to to mm, to face negativity. There's no way. For me, there is no way. There is no way. It's impossible not to find three persons that are willing to pay the price to achieve freedom in their life. But if we are not aware that we have developed a negativity focused mind, that we always are thinking in people that are saying no, people is not believing, people are negative, people they don't want to hear MLM networks, where we are attracting that kind of people in our world, into our world. It's true. There are people that have a wrong perception or a negative perception of the industry. But if only 1% of the American population is involved in the network marketing, how many yeses, for saying it in a way, how many yeses are out there? How many yeses? Okay, how many people are will be willing to accept this opportunity? So let me um, let me say it this way. It's true. There are people that have a wrong perception, but our job is not make them change. Our job, okay, is to find the yeses, not to mind debate the no's or the negativity of the people. Is a reality. There will always be negative people. But remember, you attract what you look for. So what I'm looking for is 3 to 4 yeses. I know that we have to pass, to pass many people that will not do this business for many reasons. But we have to be aware not to enter that people in our mind, because our mind have to be full with only one thought. There are many yeses outside.
Oh, did we lose you?
We didn't lose you, did we?
No,
Oh, okay. All right, great. I'm getting text messages on the chat, so my phone is going nuts. Somebody said, "Thank you so much. That's a great answer." And then another person wrote a question. What's a good example of a question to ask a prospect to start talking about freedom?
well, one of my questions that I always use with people is, how are you feeling in your life? How are you feeling? Because feelings are the most powerful expressions of human souls. So based on their feelings, okay, I start to explain them the power of having or creating passive income and happiness. Let me say one thing. Freedom and happiness are sisters of the same mother. They're sisters. So when people understand that in order to create happiness, they can first need to create freedom, then people will become more open to our message. Many people sometimes get skeptical to the money message. But in my experience, the majority of the people want to be happy, And there's no way you can be happy without creating freedom first. And passive income is an excellent way to create happiness.
Great answer. So they wrote, very true, happiness is a state of mind. Yes, and Warren from Canada said we should not try to convince others. We should focus on finding those who are ready and willing. And what I add to that, Warren, and I say it all the time, next. As soon as I feel a rejection, a negativity, or not, I say next. I stop the conversation in a nice way and move on. You know, and it's funny that you bring this up because I had a customer at work today, and I don't remember how we came up to the conversation, but she's a nurse. She's a nurse, and she takes care of older people, and the person that she's taking care of is now in an assisted living home, and she only has her on Fridays, and she picked up a new customer, and that customer died last week. So I said to her, so what do you do next? And she goes, well, I'm 66, and it's time for me to retire. And I said, oh, yes, it's well past your time. She said, yes, it is, girl. And then as soon as I heard her say girl, I said, oh, this woman is from Jamaica. And I said to her, what are you doing? You're going to pack up and go to Jamaica and then take your retirement money and go? She started laughing, and she agreed with me. And I said, listen, while you're down in Jamaica, I have an opportunity for you because I know you're going to get bored and you're not going to be able to just kick back. You're a hard-working woman. She said, how do you know this? And I said, what part of Jamaica? She said, Ochi. I said, perfect. She gave me her phone number, and I text her my presentation. So hopefully tomorrow when I follow up with her, we see what she says. That's just something that I wanted to share because of what you said. Next, if they're not ready, they're not open, you move on. You don't dwell on those negative ones. You know, your conversation should be natural. Remember, it's about what they want. It's not about what you want. It's about what they want. And you have to feel them out. You have to find that hot button is what I call. Correct, Giovanni?
Mamita, se me fue el Wi-Fi.
Oh, the Wi-Fi went. I hear you.
Okay, here we go.
All right,
yeah,
I hear
Francis,
you. Did you hear me? Did you get a chance to hear me?
Yeah. Most of what you said, I heard. And well, we have to understand that many people will reject the money or financial freedom concept, not because they don't want it. It's because they don't believe that they can achieve that. But I have had very nice response when I explain or when I ask people, how happy would you like to become in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no human being that do not want, do not want happiness. There's no one, okay? And happiness is a concept that people would more believe in than money. So we have to make them understand that in order to create a happy life, we need to create a free. We have to become free of the system. We have to become free of the system. And the only way to become free of the system, in many cases, is by creating a second source of income, which is called passive income. Passive income will give you freedom, and freedom will give you happiness.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Giovanni, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully maybe in the future we could do another call sometime. I'm sure everybody on this call would definitely want to hear again from you, because we overloaded the line. There was people texting me that they couldn't get on the call. I guess because with any meeting, it limits when it's the free, and they weren't able to get on. So I really appreciate the time you took out to, speak with us and also to answer a few questions. And I know a lot of people have a lot more, but, we've been on the call an hour. You've been talking. I know I get tired of talking. I need a break as well. So I appreciate it. And we all thank you very much for being on the call. And hopefully soon in the future, we can have you back on. And I think we might have lost Giovanni because his Wi-Fi was failing him. So guys, next week we have the business opportunity call. It will be back on the Wednesday evening at 9:30. And it will be the business opportunity. And I know that I've had, I asked Matt Lisenby in regards to sending out the new PowerPoint of the new presentation, and he told me to hold off because it was in its final stages, and he would have it up in the For Life University. I hope everyone on the call knows about the For Life University. It's the digitalized tool for the INT system. It is there. It's available. It's free. And also remember that it also shows you as an upline if someone went through the whole 9 steps or they only did part. Remember that it tracks. So I hope that everybody starts to use it, and that new PowerPoint will be on there. It's just the beginning, guys. There's still more videos. There's still more pieces to come. Remember, this is like the first part. And it will a lot more things will be added on. So I just wanted to share that with you guys so you don't get disheartened that, oh, it's just the 9 steps. No, there'll be a lot more things on there. It's just we have to wait. So I cannot share that PowerPoint of the opportunity until Matt tells me it's okay, and he told me to wait. And he said that when he releases it, it will be in your back office in For Life, at the For Life University. I hope that everyone on the call has had the opportunity to go through it and get yourself familiar with it, watch some videos as well, download some PDF files, and also go into the back office and see all the business resources, photos that you can use, videos, music is even in there. So, guys, I appreciate everyone on the call this evening. We're back on schedule next week, Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. And remember that I'm still also trying to get Rafaela Santiago, Gold International, Rafaela Santiago on our call. She will be translated. I would have to translate her. So, guys, next week, 9:30 p.m., you will all receive the invite. I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you, everyone, for all the messages on the chat, for all of you being on the call. Have a great weekend. We will all be on next week. Everyone can hit *6 to end the call. To everyone, say good night. And that's it.
Good night.
So good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, Francis. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Francis. You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Have a good night.